Does body count really matter? There are a lot of red pill videos floating around that seem to make a big deal about body count. The general argument is whether or not body count matters. So, does it matter? It does to some, but not to others. It is generally true that when seeking a long-term relationship partner, most men, all else equal, would prefer a woman with a lower body count than a higher body count. That seems to be the sticking point for most of these discussions. Whether or not this is actually true, or whether or not this should or shouldn't be true. But the real question is, dear viewer, does it matter to you, whoever you are watching this video? Consider the idea that it is each individual's responsibility to decide on their own criteria. All the green flags and the red flags, the things they'd like to have, the things they'd like to not have. And if you meet somebody and a high body count for you is a red flag and they happen to have a high body count, disqualify them and find somebody else. If you are a lady and you happen to have a high body count and somebody disqualifies you for having a high body count, go find somebody else. That's all anybody can do. To sort through all the available candidates, find one that's a match for you, and then live happily ever after. So why is this issue so contentious? What is it about women that have a high body count that seem to make a certain segment of men so angry? Why are these kinds of arguments so popular? If you are a guy and you are operating within the world to find a relationship partner and high body count is an issue, that's just simply something you'll need to disqualify somebody for and move on to the next candidate. The reason for the frustration and the anger is based on a very common mental structure, and that is when people externalize their problems out onto society. I can't get a job because the economy sucks. I can't lose weight because I've been brainwashed by the fast food industry. Plenty of people have tried to sue the tobacco companies after smoking cigarettes for 20 years and then suddenly getting cancer. It's not my fault, it's the tobacco company's fault. Similarly, many guys have less than acceptable results on the dating market, and they blame the dating market because women on the dating market are not acting the way men think they should be acting. This is a very common and a very old structure. It's so common that economist Thomas Sowell says this is the basic reason behind the oldest political con of all time. The politician says, "Your problems are not your fault. Your problems are their fault. Vote for me and I'll fix it. Vote for me and I'll punish them. Vote for me and I'll take their stuff and give it to you." So red pill videos that bemoan high body count women seem very comforting to those who hold this common externalize your problems mindset. It's much, much easier to blame somebody else for your problems than to proactively solve your problems. And don't forget that misery loves company. Watching a high body count video that has hundreds of thousands of views and thousands of comments gives you the idea that you are not alone in your problems. You have a lot of company in your misery. Now, here's an interesting reframe if you're ready. Pay close attention. First, let's assume that for women, it is somewhat true that having a high body count makes it more difficult to find a high-quality, long-term relationship partner. This represents another very common structure, and that is choosing short-term pleasure that creates longer-term pain. What tends to feel good today can often cause big problems later in the future. So far, so good. So when you choose to get angry at women that have high body count, instead of choosing to improve your game or improve any value you can potentially offer to women, you are doing the same thing. You are choosing what feels good right now, namely watching all those red pill videos at the expense of doing things that could make a much better future for yourself. What's the flip side of this common problem? Daily discipline, your daily grind. The flip side of this common problem is that daily discipline, your daily grind, doing things on a daily basis that could increase the value you offer to women, can create a much better future, a much happier future where you are in a mutually enjoyable relationship with a fantastic woman. Whether you are a man or a woman, low body count or high body count, the strategy is the same. Create a rock-solid list of criteria you want in a partner and then get busy finding them. And while you are searching for them, do everything you can to improve your game. Become more ambitious. Become more skilled socially. Become more skilled conversationally. Become more skilled financially. And guess what? As you increase your value, you can also increase your criteria. The more value you deliver to the market, the more value you can demand in return from the market. But that won't happen if you waste your time wishing the world wasn't the way that it is. That won't happen if you waste your time wishing the world would make it easier for you. Because here's the real red pill. The world doesn't care about you. The world is not going to change itself to make it easier for you. It is your job as an adult, self-aware human to get into the world and extract from the world what you want. So maybe get busy doing that instead of worrying about ladies with high body count. This is actually one of the 3 pillars of Stoicism, to stop worrying about stuff that you can't control and instead focus on what you can control, like the value that you can potentially offer to the world, so you can expect similarly high value things in return, so you can get in the game and get some. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. To learn more, please visit mindpersuasion.com.